Well, welcome again to our reading of Homer. I'm reading the Odyssey, Book 7, and we got up to verse 22. So Odysseus here has met up with Athena. She's appeared and she's like to a maiden girl and carrying a pitcher, and she stands in front of him, and glorious Odysseus, and Arete asked her a question, perhaps struck up a conversation. O tekos, uk an moidomon aneros, egesaio alkinou, hostois di met anthropois in anase. O my child, it's just a term of endearment. The tekos, it's connected with the verb tikto, to bear. A tekos is a child, someone who's been born. So, oh my child, and it's a question, and it's got a nice an here and an optative, which is for politeness. So, would you not guide or give directions, perhaps moi to me? So guide me to the house of the man Alkinois. Who, now the meta probably goes again as a preverb with the anase, who rules among or rules over these men. Kai ga ego xenos talaperios enthadi hikano, te lothen ex apies gaies. For hikano, we've had that verb earlier, I have come here as a stranger, a xenos, who is talaperios. Well, something like much tried, much suffering. We get that talus root and the per, so has endured much suffering. Telothen, from afar, we get that old then ending again. So from afar, from an apies, gaies, from a distant land, from a land far away. Toi un u tina oida anthropon, hoi ten dipolin kai erga nemontai. Now the toe here is, you see this commonly in Homer, it means for this reason, so therefore. So because of this, because I'm from a foreign land, I do not know any of men. So I know none of the men here. Who, I know none of the men who nemontai, it's middle here, manage. Nemo's got a range of meanings. In the middle here it's got the sense of to manage or look after. This city, and demonstrative taindi here, and its works. Ton daute pros iepe theaglaukopis Athenae. And the Athena, the grey-eyed goddess, replied then to him. That's a tor there. Toiga ego toi xeni pater domon hon me ekeliues dexo. Epe moi patros amumanos enguthinae. For therefore, now again a polite reply as father stranger, just being polite here. He's described her as a child, so she's described him back as a foreign father. Daexo, from Daeknumi, the future, I will show toi, now this is toi for soy, to you, the house which you bid me, understand, to show, or to indicate. Epe, since it understood, this is the house, it dwells near, and then it's got an ethic dative, so for me, so it dwells very near my, well, blameless, it's often translated. I prefer to translate it as noble or something rather than blameless. So it dwells near my noble father, and dative of the possessor here. Al ithi sige toion ego hodon hegemoniuso. Medi tin anthropon protiosio medi Arene. But come, that's the imperative from Amy Ibo, so come. Now we get this little expression here, it's in silence to such an extent. So it's an intensifying use of toion here, so it's something like quite silently. This is a dative here from for the noun for silence. So come ever so silently, we could say, and I will lead, understand you along the path. From hegemonuo, so I will lead you along the hodon, the road. Made lest any, sorry, no, that's imperatives here. So do not, and we get an imperative here. This is proti for pros, and the verb is osomai. So do not look in the eye. Do not look at any of men. So don't make eye contact with anyone, nor eriene, nor ask any questions. Uga xenus hoid mal anthropus anekontai, udi agapadzomenoi phileus hos kalothen elthe. For they, that is the men of the city, hoidi, they do not put up with, this is from an ekamai, they don't put up with or endure, they don't care for men who are xenus, who are foreigners, and the mala is to be taken really with the u and the verb. So they don't in any way put up with men who are foreigners, nor agapadzu, this is a participle, agapadzomenoi, it's to welcome or show affection, to perhaps welcome is good, nor welcoming do they show, do they love, literally, do they show kindness to whoever might come alothen from elsewhere. Ne si thoe si toi ge pepoithotes okesin lightma meg ek paroosin epe spisidok enosikthon ton nees okei hos epteron enoema. We get toi for hoi, and then don't forget the get. So they, in fact, pepoithotes, it's from pepoithos, was originally a perfect form, but it's become a fossilized form, and it survives into later Greek as well. It means to trust in. It's connected with peitho, to persuade, so, but it's got the sense of trust in, and it takes a dative. But they, in fact, trusting in their swift ships. So we get two adjectives really meaning the same thing from thoos, and we get okus. They're sort of tautological, really. You could translate it by, but they, in fact, trusting in their swift ships which move quickly. They ekporoosin, from peroo, to cross. They cross the megalitma. This is a funny word. It means a depth or gulf. So they cross the great gulf, understand of the sea, when enosikthon, this is the earth shaker, is generally taken to be the meaning of this. The etymology is disputed. It's a reference, of course, to Poseidon. So when the earth shaker grants, from didomi, in the sense of gives or grants it, spisi for them. Ternais, so the ships of them, so their ships, understand, are Kaioi are swift, hos a as if, so that is like, so like a pteron, a wing, or a noema, a thought. Hos araphonesas hegesetopalas Athene kapalimos, hot depeta met ichnia bine theoio. Thus, speaking in this way, Pallas Athena led the way, and we're going to run over to the next line. She led the way quickly, speedily, but he, after, we get meta plus bino here. So he walked after the ichnia. These are the footprints, so we'd say footsteps. So he followed after the footsteps of the goddess. But accordingly, the Phaeacians, the Nausiclutoi, these are ones famous with their ships. Uk enoesan ton, did not notice him, ton for auton. And then in opposition with that, we get Erchomion, as he was walking, kata astu dias spias, about the city through their midst, literally through them, so through their midst. Uga Athene ea eu plokamos, dene theos, hera hoi aklun, des pesien kata hue Polyphroniusi eni thumo. For Athena, of the beautiful locks, beautiful tresses, beautiful head, Athena, ea, this is connected with eao, that verb to allow. She did not allow it, and she is a fearsome goddess, a Dane Theos. And she, fittingly, she poured down from Kataheo a thespesian, a divine aklon, a divine mist for him, perhaps upon him or for him, thinking dear things in her heart. So being well disposed to him. It's an expression we had earlier in this book. Thaumas den Odysseus limenas kai neas isas, auton theroon agoras kai tekea makra, hupsela, skolopesin ererota thauma idesthai. And Odysseus, from Thaumasto, he wondered, he marvelled at the limenas, from limain, third declension noun, at their harbours and their balanced ships, and at the agoras, perhaps the marketplaces or places of gathering of their heroes, and the great walls, and we're going to run over again for Hupsela, the high ones, and their arerota. This is from ararisco. This is a perfect participle from the verb ararisco. We get a kind of reduplication here. Ararisco is to fit together. So literally fitted with, this is from Scolops, a palisade. These are spikes, so fitted with palisades. Thalma idesthai, a beautiful little phrase that Homer uses quite a number of times, but sparingly enough to make it still a very lovely little phrase. It's not worn too much by Homer, but he uses it from time to time, both Iliad and Odyssey. It means a marvel to behold. Beautiful little phrase there. Al hotede basileos agakluta domath hikonto, toi sidemuthon archithios glaucopis Athene. But when they came to the very famous houses of the king, We had that word earlier. It's that Klutos, famous, and aga emphasizes it, the very famous houses of the king. The goddess grey-eyed Athena made a beginning of words, to them, but it's really only to him. So she began words to them. Hutos de toi xeni pater domos hon mekelues pe frediemen. Deis de Diotrephias Basileas Ditain Dinumenus. So this then, and she repeats this phrase from before, Xene Pater, father stranger. This, the toy here is probably just an epic dative, if you please. This is the house which you bid me, perifrademen. This is a funny form here. It's a despite the fact it looks like it's a reduplication, it is actually a reduplicated aorist infinitive. It's got the mn infinitive ending, it's got a reduplication, but it is in fact a reduplicated aorist infinitive. It means to point out or to indicate. So this, if you will, O dear father stranger, is the house which you bid me to point out. Deis, now this is a subjunctive here being used as a future, again out of politeness, you would. And the root of this is da, which is find. I think it's the same root that's in didasco, to teach, but slightly different meaning there. So you will find the Diotrephias Basileas. These are the kings or rulers. They use basileus in a less formal word in Homer. It can simply mean kings or rulers who are nourished by Zeus, and you'll find them feasting a feast. So having a feast, feasting in respect of the feast. Su de eso kie mede tithumo tabe. But you go, this is from that little verb kio, another verb of going. You go inside and do not fear. This is from tabeo. So this is this is an imperative here. So do not fear in any way in your heart. Thaseleos ga ane en pasi amenon ergoisi telethe e kai pothin alothin elthoi. This is a funny little aphorism here. So for a bold man, the telethe is something like turns out in the end to be understood better in all his works, in every action, even if he might come at some point from elsewhere. The pothin is indefinite, so from somewhere else. So a man who is bold turns out in the end, a bold man, so showing boldness, turns out to be better in the end in all his works, even if he comes perchance from elsewhere. Despoinan men protokikesiai en megaroisin, arete de onoma estin eponymon, ek de tokeon ton auton hoi per tekon alkinoon Basilea. Now this is from King Kano. It's kappa iota and then gamma, and it's a nasal gamma, so it disappears in the, this is the future form here. You will find, possibly subjunctive, you would find. So you will find firstly the mistress, the despoinan, in the house. So it's probably a subjunctive here for imperative. So you firstly find the mistress in the house. Arete is the name with which he was named. is the eponymous name, Arete, Arete. Its name, of course, means virtue. So the name which she was named is Arete, and she is from this is the parents, from Tokius. So from the same parents who begat the king Alkinoos. So the Tokion here is not really parents but ancestors. So it's not the immediate parents. So perhaps we'd better to translate, she is from the same ancestors who bore, this is from Ticto, so who in fact, with a pair, we mustn't lose our particles, who in fact bore Alkinoos the king. Now in fact she is the genealogy is something like this. I'll just put this here from a little note here. So Poseidon and Periboia gave a birth to Nausithoos. Nausithoos has two children, Rhexenor and Alkinoos, and she is the daughter of Rhexenor. And so she's actually married her own uncle in the story, but this is what happens often in ancient societies. So that's the next part of book 7.